A Chico woman is hit and killed on her morning jog by a driver suspected of being under the influence.
It happened just after 9 this morning on Oro Chico Highway. 56-year-old Carrie Hollyman was running west on the shoulder of the roadway when an SUV hit her from behind. The driver, 25-year-old Jimmy Flores, says his dog jumped onto him, causing him to swerve into Hollyman. Police arrested him for suspicion for driving under the influence of marijuana and gross vehicular manslaughter. He was convicted of DUI charges back in 2004 for causing injury to 2 others in an accident and then leaving the scene.
It's been a program applauded for offering students incredibly unique opportunities. But those students looking forward to another year of Chico High West aren't going to get one. As Action News reporter Court Klopping found out, this particular program is out for more than just the summer.
It's honestly one of the worst choices that could be made.
Chico High West students like ASB President Sean Brown are upset and confused that the courses they've been taking for the last 3 years and the teachers who have been teaching them have fallen victim to budget cuts.
It's just upsetting to know that next year it's just not going to be the same, and I'm not going to have those, and it's just upsetting.
I was so distraught because 4 of my classes were with those teachers. So my schedule for next year was absolutely ruined.
The students of Chico High West took part in multiple charitable programs that didn't stop with the local community.
We built a school in Ecuador. We built a fire department in New Orleans after Katrina.
That's something I'm really proud of. So to take that away is just like, what's the meaning?
According to Chico High Principal Jim Hanlon, there were 2 major factors when it came to cutting the program.
We've had kind of a change in sign-ups on the student part of it and a change in the culture on whether or not teachers want to be a part of it.
But the loss of the program wasn't the only thing that bothered the students. Chico High West students say they were never officially notified their classes would no longer be offered. Instead, they found out through
a text from a friend.
I got a text from one of my friends.
There was a text that I got from a friend.
Students also told Action News they'd been assured by Hanlon that they would have a class.
He told us that we would for sure have 1 class. Well, that is a lie.
And at that point, I believe that we would have had it. And then we lost probably between 7 and 8 teachers from last year to this year. So that was something that was unforeseen and not in my control, and that directly impacted West.
A sad ending for a program that gave so much back. In Chico, Court Klopping, Action News.
Principal Hanlon also told us the ACT program has been cut for next year as well.
A new study by Pepperdine University finds that as total school funding increases in California, the percentage of the money actually being spent in the classroom is going down. The study shows that more of the funding increase went to administrators, clerks, and technical staff, and that less went to teachers, textbooks, materials, and teacher aides. Total K-12 spending increased by $10 billion over the 5-year period ending in June of last year. That was before budget cuts for the current fiscal year led to nearly 16,000 teachers losing their jobs. Another 22,000 have received pink slips for the coming school year. The study finds classroom spending dipped from 59% to less than 58% over those same 5 years.
Magalia residents are at their wits' end. They say a Butte County Planning Commissioner is renting out his home to people living without electricity or hot water. Action News reporter Audrey Asistio spoke with angry neighbors who say the tenants are the source of constant disturbances.
After retiring and recently overcoming cancer, Michael Miles and his wife moved into what they thought would be a peaceful neighborhood in Magalia. But it's been all but that, and Miles blames it on the tenants living directly behind him on Crescent Drive.
It's been extremely difficult for both of us. The people who were there and the people who hung out with them were obnoxious, loud, drunk. One time they threatened to kill our dogs and burn us out one night.
Deputies have visited the house on a number of occasions, responding to complaints of excessive noise. Code enforcement officers have been there too, ordering the tenants to clean up bags full of garbage littered throughout the yard. And those living there have been doing so without electricity or any hot water since October. The landlord is Butte County Planning Commissioner Fernando Marin.
We have written him letters, and he just did nothing about it.
Miles says this is unacceptable.
He's just not fit to be a planning commissioner of all things. You know, planning developments in this county when he's allowing people to live like this.
Totally unfair. Totally things I haven't even done, and And I just will call the police on every little thing that I do.
Marcia Garcia has rented the home for 4 years now. She says the neighbors have had it out for her since day one.
Yeah, I used to have a dog, and the lady in the back would walk around with a gun on her side. And, you know, I've had a lot of problems. I've went through breast cancer living here, and it's my children. I have teenage children that are here that usually cause the problems, and it's not me, and I don't know why they want to be so mean.
I tried getting a hold of Marin on the phone and even tried catching him at a planning commission meeting Thursday morning, but he didn't show up. Miles says he's even asked Butte County Supervisor Kim Yamaguchi to get involved, but Miles says Yamaguchi told him Marin has done nothing wrong. Yamaguchi appointed Marin to the planning commission back in January of 2001. Neighbors say they just want peace and quiet and for Marin to be a better landlord.
And that's just a slimy way of doing business.
In Butte County, Audrey Assistio for Action News.
Now, Marcia Garcia says Marin is losing the house to foreclosure in less than 2 weeks, and she is now trying to find a new home.
Turning now to the nation's economy, today marked the biggest stock rally in 2 weeks. The Dow gained 201 points today, the Nasdaq added 59, while the S&P 500 gained 24. Crude oil was up $2.74 a barrel. And despite today's rebound on Wall Street, a recent survey by Citi finds 62% of Americans believe the economy has yet to hit rock bottom. More than half of those polled say they are not taking a vacation due to economic concerns, and new government figures show the country's economy may be slowing once again after a brief boost. Michelle Franzen has more.
At a recent job fair for a South Carolina BMW plant, Yvonne Thomas Jones waited with hundreds of other hopeful applicants in search of work.
I think job opportunities are still good because everybody's not going to qualify.
But key indicators show the nation's economy is recovering at a much slower pace than expected. First-time jobless claims jumped last week to their highest since February. And Federal Reserve Chairman Ben Bernanke told a congressional committee the nation's economic outlook remains unusually uncertain.
We are ready, and we will act if the economy does not continue to improve.
The motion is adopted.
Today, the House voted to extend unemployment benefits and pass the bill to the president's desk. But Republicans say the focus should be on creating jobs.
Americans are still asking the question, where are the jobs? And all President Obama has to offer them is more stimulus spending.
The lack of jobs, along with the end of the first-time home buyer tax credits, are also taking their toll on the housing market. Sales for previously owned homes fell just over 5% last month.
There's a large economic uncertainty. The job market at unemployment rate 9.5%. Very high, so there's a lot of anxiety among consumers out there.
Other leading indicators, including manufacturing and consumer confidence, are also seeing a drop, a trend economists say could last the rest of the year. In New York, Michelle Franzen, NBC 24 Action News.
The president signed the unemployment benefits measure into law this afternoon. And as Michelle just mentioned, existing home sales fell by 5.1%, a 3-month low. That despite a big drop in mortgage rates. Freddie Mac is reporting the average rate for a 30-year fixed mortgage is now down to 4.56%. This is the lowest rate since the lender began tracking rates back in 1971.
It's Christmas in July, and Redding's Good News Rescue Mission is hoping the community will be in a giving mood. The shelter has partnered up with RABA and Kids Unlimited for the annual Stuff the Bus campaign to provide back-to-school clothing for mission kids. For the next 3 days, the rescue mission is asking people to help them fill an entire bus with new clothes for kids between the ages of 5 and 15.
As kids head back to school, you know, confidence is a real issue, and particularly for those that might be struggling financially and that sort of thing. So we're hoping to get new clothes for these kids so that as they go back to school, they can go back to school full of confidence and really just focus on their studies and school and not worry about some of the other things.
The Good News Rescue Mission will be accepting donations in front of the Redding Convention Center before each Kids Unlimited performance. The show starts at 7 o'clock tonight and Friday and Saturday as well, also 2 p.m. on Sunday.